So, I'm Ryan, this is Mike, we're the Cartridge family, and today our topic of conversation is going to be gun control and how it would affect you in a zombie apocalypse. So Mike, you want to start?
Well, naturally, you can assume it will have a negative impact due to, assault weapons being less readily available, and those are probably some of the best weapons to have in that scenario.
Now, Mike, my one question for you is, when you're talking about having assault weapons readily available, now, why not just use a sharp, blunt, or blunt object? I mean, that doesn't run out of ammo.
Well, of course, you want to keep one of those on standby, but you want something for a long range attack too. You don't always want them getting up close because that's a greater risk.
So now, why do you think that the government would ban guns, knowing that there is an inevitable zombie apocalypse coming?
Well, clearly because they're behind the zombie apocalypse.
No. Are you insinuating that the government is planning a zombie apocalypse?
Could be.
That doesn't actually surprise me at all. They already want us to be zombies. Anyway, alright, so what would your zombie survival plan be?
To bunker up, preferably in a high area, with loads of ammunition and non-perishable food supplies.
So like a lot of bread.
Yeah.
See, my plan was always I'd go in, and I read the zombie survival the zombie survival guide, and what they said in the book kind of really stuck with me, which was if it was ever a zombie apocalypse, obviously a lot of canned food, a lot of water, run up a flight of stairs and knock the fucking stairs down, because you knock the stairs down, nothing's getting up there. My only issue with that though is eventually you're gonna run out of food. So I'm like,
At some point you're gonna have to venture out.
I mean, one thing I always wondered was, can you eat zombies? Like, I mean, I know if a zombie bites you, but that's like a blood infection. Like, if you eat the zombie's flesh, would you, like, what if you boiled it first? Like, would you like, become a zombie? Like, that's something I don't think they ever really explored.
Well, in any case, I don't believe rotting flesh would taste very good.
Well, I mean, rotting flesh isn't going to taste very good, but when you're going with, like, when it's survival and you have to eat what you have to eat, like, because, I mean, I know a lot of people play Minecraft, but in Minecraft, as zombies drop rotten flesh. You can eat the rotten flesh. I mean, sometimes you get, like, that sickness, but now I know video games aren't, like, real life, but, like, sometimes I wonder, like, if there was a zombie apocalypse, could you, like, boil the meat? Because if you boil chicken, there's, like, you're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So, maybe cook zombie meat, then you have, like, ample supply. And then I've always wondered, like, what happens with zombies in the winter? Like,
Well, I considering they're dead, I don't think they're affected by the cold whatsoever.
well, the only thing though is, like, they have open flesh and they have, like, those ligaments are probably, like, completely frozen.
Yeah. You could slow them down a bit, but I don't think we'll like kill them all.
Alright, and then
Survive it.
okay, so what about? Do you watch The Walking Dead?
No.
Okay. So in The Walking Dead, I don't even remember where I was going with this on. They have, like, these little colonies of people, and they have, like, the borders. And alright, so I'm not gonna spoil anything, so forget that. Would you, like, want to be in a community, or would you rather be, like, on your own?
Well, I look at it two ways. In one way, the community can be helpful because you can always have people looking out in all different directions. Someone's always got your back.
Yeah.
But you never know if someone can stab you in the back.
That's true.
They can just like feed you to zombies so they can live. They'll be like, screw you, man.
Alright, so back to the gun control. Now, obviously, like, if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, we all know that all the important people that are part of the government would all be hid away and we'd all be left to ourselves.
course.
Now, considering that and the fact that like some states are making it mandatory that you turn in your guns now, like you have 90 days to turn them in before you're arrested. So keeping that in mind, like, do you think that people are actually going to turn that in, or
no? Because hicks are crazy and they love their guns.
That is true. Trying to think what else. Do you think? Now, I mean, everybody loves zombie video games. Zombie video like if a video game can be complete shit, and if it has one level that's like zombie based, everybody buys it. Now, why do you think that is?
I really don't know. It's basically like a fan thing right now, you know. I think just undead fantasy creatures in general are like in vogue at the moment.
You're referring to Edward, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
See, now, do you think that people are going to be so gung-ho and let's fight zombies if there actually was a zombie apocalypse, or do you think everybody just run like a little bitch?
No, I think everyone will just be pissed in their pants.
You know, that's... I'm not even gonna lie, I'd probably piss my pants. I'd be like, holy shit, what just happened? I mean, I do have a couple weapons around here, but... what else do you want to talk about during the zombies?
Back to the topic of eating them.
Alright, go ahead.
Would eating a zombie be considered cannibalism?
That's a good question. I mean, it's technically still a human person. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, that's something we should probably ask, like, you guys. Do you think that eating a zombie counts as cannibalism? Because, I mean, they are still technically, like, their body's human. They've just become rabid.
Human, but are they considered human anymore? So, but they've become an undead monstrosity.
Yeah, I mean, then again, if there's a zombie apocalypse, I have no food. I'm just gonna eat a person. I have no qualms about eating somebody to survive. Like,
also, can zombies zombify wildlife?
I've never seen that in the movies. I mean, everything we get is based off the movies. So and then sometimes I wonder if it'd be like the rate where it'd be like rabies, where smaller animals wouldn't be able to survive like the transition.
Mm-hmm.
Like if a small animal gets rabies, it just dies. It doesn't get that feral state. So, but then again, what about larger animals? Like would you have a zombie elephant?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine
zombie
that
cows? It's a freaking zombie rhinoceros.
Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, those are things you gotta think about, because it's like, I mean, people always assume that the other, I mean, unless it was a strain that only affected humans, but then it would have to be like, it only affected the living, because like a virus strain could, no matter what kind of thing they're talking about, there's no way you could reanimate a dead body using a virus. Because there'd have to be some kind of living tissue.
Anything, it would be some sort of parasite that is able to take control of the host body.
Which I think Dead Island, I think that was the thing for Dead Island, was that it was something like that. I don't know, what next topic?
I don't know. I got nothing.
Oh, I think we got something right here. PS4. Thoughts on it?
I actually haven't looked into it too much, so I don't have all the info yet.
Okay. So, based on what you've seen from past Sony screw-ups, what do you think?
From past screw-ups? Well, as long as, like, they get the whole backwards compatibility thing sorted out, because like they don't have any of that, it's kind of shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Now,
and if, like, you have to buy the games again.
Yeah, for the streaming, yeah, that is kind of bullshit. The only thing, though, is where we're standing now, used games are going to be able to be played on the PS4. Microsoft pretty much said straight out that you're not going to be able to play that in a new Xbox. Would that deter you? Would that make you buy a PlayStation over an Xbox? The fact that as soon as you buy the game, you can't play it on any other Xbox.
It's definitely kind of a swaying factor. I mean, I typically don't buy many used games anyway, unless it's something that's no longer available.
Yeah.
That you can only find it used nowadays.
But see, something like this, like, I'm sure plenty of you guys remember these Super Smash Brothers N64. I remember going to my friend's house, bringing this with me, and just being able to rock it out on his, like, they were well off, so they had a very nice setup. So, I mean, tiny little TV, giant TV. I mean, you already know where you're gonna go with that. Plus, the kid had like 4 controllers, so. But it also it was so nice to be able to just bring the game, like pop it in, like, hey, let's play this instead of let me lug my giant console over. And then the other thing that was good about it was, let's say that you had a game that you just got and you beat it, and I had one. We could just trade it. Like we would swap games for a bit. Like I've done that with plenty of games.
Yeah, I used to borrow games all the time.
Like that's how I got Kingdom Hearts in the first place. So, I mean, I think things like that. Like, I mean, we're moving away from that generation. We're moving more towards a generation where like all of our gaming is online.
Yeah,
and it's like you don't really play with your friends in a room as much. But I still kind of like the idea that you can just let somebody borrow something. I mean, plus, if you buy it, you kind of deserve to be able to do what you want with it. It's your own. It's technically your own property. So, I mean, I think that might set them apart. And the other thing was, and we had talked about this earlier, was pricing. They're obviously going to have to do it at a much lower price than what it's really being made for. The only difference is, and people have said it before, Microsoft has to put Blu-ray in their new Xbox. They have to. It's pretty much become the social norm. It can hold a lot more than their HD DVDs, and that's pretty much like the gaming market wanted that in the first place. Like they were really hoping Blu-ray would just kind of crap out because Sony invested a shit ton in it, but it's not going anywhere. And now that Sony owns it, so any console that Microsoft sells with Blu-ray, they have to pay rights to Sony to do that. So while both consoles will be losing money, Sony's technically making money on the Xbox. So either way, Sony's coming out of this with money.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be a bad idea to put the PS4 at too high a price point anyway, considering the backlash over the PS3's initial $600 price tag.
That was crap.
That was not a good move on their part.
And then another thing people talk about a lot is online. Now, the online for the PS4, from what we've seen, and we haven't seen much, is supposed to be like you can watch your friends when they're playing. You can jump in. Kind of not really that big of a deal to jump in. I mean, like, if you're a real gamer, you don't need somebody to do it for you. You stick to it and you do it yourself.
Yeah.
But, I mean, then you also come to the point where, I mean, both consoles have a set price. Now, the Xbox, let's say even if it's $20 lower, you do have to take into account the amount that you're going to be paying for live. Now, I mean, I've heard plenty of people argue that, and I'm going to say it right now, I have a PS3, I don't have a 360, but, I mean, you have a 360, right?
Yep.
So, do you pay for live?
Whenever I'm going to use it, like, if I don't really plan on using it much, I won't.
Okay.
But it's, like, usually when I get a game that I know I'm going to be playing online.
Like
something like Borderlands
right?
2, yeah. Where, like, that's a big part of the game, then, yeah, I'll definitely pay for it.
Because, I mean, it's been said before, Xbox is single-player games, you want to go for a PS3. The single-player campaigns are just, when it's like, I can't remember the exact word for it. When it's a console exclusive, like, for that specific thing, Sony tends to have, like, the better games for that. When it comes to like multiplayer in general usually does play a lot more fluid on the 360.
Yeah.
The only thing though is the 360, the live can get pretty expensive. I mean, where you don't have to pay anything for the PSP, you don't have to pay PSN. There's no price for that. The only difference is you are getting better service for the new Xbox, but if Sony's new online advances to like a much nicer stage, would you switch to the PlayStation in terms of multiplayer?
Possibly. I mean, you also have to take into account that currently 360 has a much larger online player base. So it's usually easier to get into a game on the 360. And you typically tend to find a lot of the better players on the 360.
Yeah.
So that's one of the factors to consider right there. But I mean, I do like it being free and all on the PlayStation. That's definitely a plus. I mean, I wouldn't mind switching over. I'm not too big like an online gamer anyway.
Yeah.
And all the online gaming I really do is on a PC. So
see, that brings up an even more interesting point: is PC gaming. Now, PC gaming, I hate to say it, but it's a select few that play PC gaming, because if you're going to build your own rig, you have to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen people who try to, like, now, I mean, I work as a computer repair tech, and I've seen people who try to make these gaming rigs, and they've literally bought parts that don't match. Like a guy came in
trying to put an AMD chip into an Intel motherboard.
Yeah, like I had a guy come in complaining that his RAM wasn't fitting into the motherboard, and I was like, well, how many pins is it? He's like 240, and I was like, it's what? It's not even the same as the motherboard. Like, what are you doing? Or I had somebody who was complaining that their NVIDIA graphics card did not work properly in it, and when I opened it up, I realized it wasn't an NVIDIA. So like, you have to be smart when you're putting these things together. Plus, one guy came in who built this computer, and he built it out of like scrap parts, and it was decent specs, but it had an 80 gig hard drive. Like, you're doing PC gaming, and you have like no memory. Well, no hard drive space. So I mean, it's still technically a select few, and I think that's why consoles are still out there, because, I mean, if you just want to pick up a game and go, obviously you're going to buy the console. But the thing that really, it kind of bothers me, but at the same time I like it, is you can't play, like, there's no cross-platform gaming. Like, you can't, like, if you're on the 360, I can't play on the PlayStation. And while I understand that's because they both have to host their own services, and it'd be expensive to do that, I don't understand why, considering a majority, everybody that's doing PC gaming, pretty much you're running Windows, because Windows is like the thing that you can play every game. Windows is still technically a product of Microsoft. You think they would allow you to use their network, considering you already paid how much?
And considering you can even sign into your live account from your PC. So,
like, I don't, like, obviously it's going to be harder with Sony, but when you think that two products that are from the same company would be able to communicate a little better. Like in a perfect world, I'd be able to play on my PS3, you'd be able to play on your 360, and we could have somebody else playing on PC, and everybody could play together. It doesn't work like that. And then, I guess that's really it for the thing, for video gaming. Did you want to talk about anything else, or?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Alright, do we have any updates? I forget. Oh, episode 2 of that really terrible show that we make, Ghost or Hoax. We're going to start filming that probably next week. YouTube really screwed up the first episode because we had a shaky camera because it was really windy out that day, and for some reason their fix was to try to put a giant black box around the video and like shook it around like crazy, like literally. I hope you're not motion sick, but it was like, and it came out really bad. So the thing that really sucked was we don't have that anymore. Like, we don't have those files. So we can't re-upload it, so we're either going to go back and re-record that, or we're just going to skip to episode 2. The other update was, in terms of gaming, because this is supposed to be a gaming channel, we're going to probably update. When are we going to do our next upload?
whenever we can get it done. Did you have those recordings of that?
Yeah.
All right.
I
And
just want to say I
you
hope
just
you
have to
guys
put
like
the,
pigeons. So we're probably gonna try to get some multiplayer things going. I know a lot of people love Minecraft, and I'm sure we're gonna get some people that are like play Minecraft. And I'm not too sure about that. I mean, I love the game. I play it all the time. I play it obsessively, but there's so many people that are doing it.
Dead horse at
Yeah,
this
like
point.
you have Captain Sparkles, who I love that guy, but I mean he's already doing it. You have the Yogscast, Tobuscus is doing it too. You got Ant Venom, Chimney. So I mean, you have a lot of these like more popular gamers that are all playing Minecraft, and I kind of don't want to I don't want. It's not that I don't want to associate with them.
You don't want to like piggyback off the
it's
success.
not like I love those guys. It's just I don't want to be like, oh, let me just copy off him instead of being original. So, I mean, if you guys have any games you want us to try playing, by all means, let us know. And we're probably also going to be doing a lot of old school games. Like you're going to be seeing a lot of these.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Smash Brothers, but you'll probably see some Mario Party because everybody rages at that game. Mario Kart. Probably going to break out the NES too, right?
Yep. SNES. Maybe some PS1.
And maybe a little bit of Battletoads.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Turtles in Time is definitely going to be on that list, though.
It's definitely there.
This is probably getting pretty long. We're at 21 minutes.
Time flies.
Alright, so I guess that's it for this video. I'm Ryan.
I'm Mike.
This is the Cartridge Family.